Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Wednesday, the 4th of March 2020. And yesterday we published a most important video entitled Surprise Fed Rate Cut Pushes Gold and Silver Prices Higher, which actually followed our predictive video on Monday entitled Gold and Silver Rise as Surprise Rate Cut May Be Announced This Week. Who knew it would be the very next day? Yesterday, we announced that the Fed cut the Fed funds rate by 0.5%, so that it now stands at 1 to 1.25%. And at the same time, both Australia and Malaysia cut their rates. And other members of the G7 also pledged action after warnings that the slowdown from the outbreak could tip countries into recession. Now, we should be mindful and not forget that Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said at a press conference in Washington yesterday, quote, "The US economy remains strong, but it is difficult to predict the magnitude and persistence of the effects of the spreading virus. The measures that are taken to contain it will surely weigh on economic activity for some time, both here and abroad," unquote. Now, gold and silver prices jumped on the news, with gold standing at $1,643, some $57 higher than Monday's opening when we produced the video, and the silver price was $17.25, some 58 cents higher than Monday's opening. Now, it's now worth taking a look at where they stand currently. Well, it's 2000 hours GMT, and gold is down slightly at $16.38, and silver is $17.22. US equity markets have gained around 3/4 of their loss yesterday, with the Dow up some 870 points at 26,787, and the S&P 500 up 93 points at 3,096. The dollar index has slightly strengthened today, up 0.24 at 97.39, and of course the pumpers have been out today in force, announcing the end of our financial system as we know it. And boy, that dollar is going through the floor, according to them. Okay. The ADP February employment figures out today were 183,000 new jobs against 209,000 for January, and private payrolls were stronger. The Market Services PMI for February came out at the same figure as January, 49.4, while the ISM non-manufacturing figures were both stronger than January's and higher than expectations at 57.3. So the economic data announced so far is not frightening, and markets appear a little relieved. And this tends to support what Jerome Powell said yesterday. Now, of course, Friday is the big day when we have the non-farm payrolls, and it is then that we expect the greatest moves in either direction, though we suspect potentially gold and silver prices may move up, entirely depending on what markets do tomorrow. Now, from a technical point of view, for what it's worth, gold prices are poised to test the February highs at $16.90, while short-term support is seen near the 10-day moving average at $1,620. Additional support is seen near the 50-day moving average at 1,575. Medium-term momentum is neutral, but the MACD and fast stochastic are potentially pointing to higher prices. Silver, however, is finding it difficult to surpass $17.50, but $17 does appear, at least for now, to be offering quite reasonable support. The gold to silver ratio is hovering around the 95.1 and 95.2 levels, struggling to break back down towards 90, and we suspect, as we have mentioned previously, it may struggle for a little while yet. Now, last night we produced quite a lengthy podcast video on the Richard and Greg channel, and we pointed out that there to expect a number of other central banks to follow suit with regards to interest rate cuts, though admittedly they do not have the same margin to play with as the United States has had, and still has. It was therefore interesting to see this morning the following article on Bloomberg. Let's take a look. Bloomberg article dated March 4th, 2020, 3:42 p.m. GMT. Traders betting on ECB cut spur biggest euro drop in 5 months. Money markets are in no doubt. The European Central Bank will cut interest rates next week, fueling the biggest decline for the euro since September. Traders see a 100% chance of a 10 basis point cut by the European Central Bank, up from 80% on Tuesday. The prospects of more easing sent the euro tumbling as much as 0.7%, ending the currency's best 4-day winning streak in more than 2 years. The ECB is seen pushing rates deeper into negative territory after the European Commission warned the coronavirus outbreak is threatening to plunge both France and Italy into recession. Traders are pricing in similar moves from other central banks, including the Bank of England, which decides on borrowing costs at the end of March. They saw a roughly 70% chance of a 50 basis point cut by the Bank of Canada at the close on Tuesday, and they were proved right. The euro eased declines to 0.4% as of 3:18 p.m. in London to $1.1126. End of article. So, we have the European Central Bank next week and the Bank of England at the end of March to decide what they're going to do with interest rates. Now, we were told privately that the Bank of England may actually move this week. However, having seen the panic on Wall Street yesterday, even though it has recovered somewhat today, they may think again, as it does give the impression that central banks are not in control. That said, if the Bank of England does act early, it's traditionally done on a Thursday. Now, we shall provide a daily update on these figures every day, because we know there are going to be further actions, and so this week is particularly exciting. Also, please do not forget, at least those of you in the United States, to watch the political dynamic too, particularly later in the year. Bloomberg has today dropped out of the presidential race, is backing Biden, and so now we shall see a battle royale between Sanders and Biden. We have little doubt that Biden will win, but what we do not know is whether Bernie supporters will back him wholeheartedly or just stay away. They are a rebellious lot, and if Biden wants to stand any chance of beating Trump, and we have to confess, it's very unlikely that he will, though not impossible, he will have to have his entire party behind him, giving him maximum support. If Bloomberg spends the money that he promises to, that will no doubt help him immensely. So let's please not forget this, certainly later in the year. The political dynamic will have a bearing. Not so much today, but in a few months' time. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this channel, please do subscribe. And if you have subscribed, please also press the bell sign so that you are notified of our videos as and when they're published. Further, we've placed links in the description box below of our Greg and Richard, or Richard and Greg channel, and Trump for President 2020. The latter hasn't been updated of late because of the focus on the Richard and Greg channel, but rest assured there will be plenty of video podcasts appearing there too. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners. Bye.